On April 1st, 2021, I ditched a career I absolutely hated to better myself and do the things I've always wanted to do. And that included my growing love and obsession with Ireland. I want to learn everything: culture, history, mythology, music, and the language. Which, if I'm being honest, looks really hard to learn, but I'm going to give it the old Smith try. Then, of course, there is my love of pubs and the role that they've played throughout history, and no better example of that than on that beautiful, beleaguered island in the North Atlantic, Ireland. April 1st, 2026, I depart for the Emerald Isle, and for 1 year, I'll hike town by town and conduct interviews with pub owners, pub regulars, historians, town know-it-alls, musicians, and basically anybody that wants to talk to me. If you'd like to support the project and the journey, basic Patreon support is only $3 a month, but just liking a video or subscribing to the channel and following the journey is just as helpful. I'm always looking for volunteers to work as liaisons for the project too, so if you live in Ireland and know people, feel free to hit me up. This is a huge goal and I need all the help I can get. The Smitty Learns Irish Pubcast begins April 26th and will be my life's work. Thank you. Now, let's get into Genesis. Genesis, Smitty? Yeah, Genesis. Anything pre-Phil Collins, I don't know if I know. I mean, I'm pretty sure I've heard a song or two. From, anytime I've heard Phil Collins fronted Genesis, even though I think he's still playing drums when he's singing, the point of the story is that I'd always thought it was solo Phil Collins. My Genesis knowledge is not great. And Peter Gabriel era, right? Peter Gabriel is the frontman for Genesis, right? Pre-Phil Collins? It's not David Byrne. For some fucking stupid reason, I always get Peter Gabriel and David Byrne mixed up, like I just did there. But the point of the story, I swear, is that I've never listened to pre-Phil Collins Genesis one way or another. I know it's very proggy. I know that they're lauded as one of the great bands of rock and roll, and one that I've never given the time of day to for whatever stupid reason in my brain. So right now, this will be from the Midnight Special, which is one of my all-time, anytime I see a clip, it's always out fucking standing. The Midnight Special from 1974, January 25th. And honestly, I bet you most of the music I love was made, recorded before I was born. And it's kind of just my favorite little quote from the Sound Dave Grohl's Sound City documentary that he did, where I think it was Brad Wilk from Rage Against the Machine. He's like, you got to find out who your favorite bands are and find out who their favorite bands were and then walk it back. And you get further back in time you go, the better the music is. And I'm really kind of just realizing, man, all the music I love is made before I was born, pretty much. This is the musical box from Genesis from the Midnight Special. Let's go.
I may join with you. All your hearts now seem so far from me. It hardly seems to matter now. And the nurse will tell you lies of a kingdom beyond the skies. The time lost within this half world. It hardly seems.
I had no fucking clue that they wore makeup in any way, shape, or form. I can only assume that, and I'm pretty sure that's Peter Gabriel, right? Was something that he did regularly. I have no idea. And to be honest, it's some of the most haunting makeup I've ever seen in my entire life. That's nightmare fuel right there.
Just a matter now. Play me my song. Here it comes again, again and again and again and again. Play me my song. Here it comes again.
It sounds mean and dirty and fun. And they're fucking jamming though. Like, tell me Tim Burton was not inspired by the makeup in this for something like Nightmare Before Christmas. He saw that and went bing and started writing shit down, started sketching that out.
So he called for his pipe, and he called for his bow, and he called for his fiddlers. 3 tick-tock on the mantelpiece, and I want, and I feel, and I touch, and I know.
A, I like this. This is a really cool vibe. B, I did not expect it to be as theatrical as it is. I mean, it's very right up the same alley as like Meatloaf or something like that. Almost not as theatrical as Meatloaf, probably. That's a bit overstating. But in the same sort of vibe, in a way more proggy way. I like how they're dipping in and taking it subtle and then ramping it back up. Fucking A. Man, that's fun. Ah! Is it a Halloween special?
She's a lady, she's got time. Rush back your hair and let me get to know your face.
You guys, I'm 100% certain I want to hear more and see more Genesis. I'm like, there's just, again, you say it all the time, blocks. For whatever reason, I didn't want to listen to Genesis before. And you're like, oh, I get it now, where there's just so many layers and cool nuances and different melodies that they're exploring. And the theatrical side of it is really fucking fun and honestly kind of scary. I don't know if it's a Halloween show or not.
She's a lady, she is mine. Brush back your hair and let me get to know your face.
Nightmare Fuel again.
I've been waiting here so long, and all this time that passed me by, it doesn't seem to matter now. You stand there with your fixed expression, casting doubts on all I have to say. Why don't you touch me? Touch me. Why don't you touch me? Touch me. Touch me. Now, 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 now. Now, 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 now. Now, 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 now.
Genesis, huh? I'm a little late to the game, but I think I might want to come back to the game at some point. That was just weird enough that I definitely want to hear more, and musical enough. You know, I think there were a couple parts, and a lot of times proggy stuff. I like a lot of proggy stuff, but a lot of times proggy stuff gets a little too proggy for me, where it's just like, okay, I see what you're doing, but get to the point. A lot of times. But there was enough cool things in there, and enough weirdness that it was 100% tolerable and entertaining as well. So I'll definitely check out more from Genesis. Hey, back on the live stream. Thanks for joining me. Brian is on from New England. Stoned Jesus, Season of the Witch. What the hell? Everything!